Captain Elena Vasquez steadied herself against the command console as the Vengeance's internal gravity stabilizers struggled to compensate for their violent arrival. Warning lights bathed the bridge in crimson. Through the main viewport, the dazzling energy discharge of their collapsing wormhole faded, revealing an unfamiliar starscape and the unmistakable flashes of weapons fire. "Damage report," she ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos. Lieutenant Commander Chen's fingers danced across his station. "FTL drive offline. Wormhole stabilizer critically damaged. We've lost 30% of our sensor array. Life support and defensive systems are functional," added Chief Engineer Rodriguez, his dark eyes scanning readouts. "Whatever happened during transit, we're lucky to be in one piece." Dr. Okafor looked up from the science station, her expression grave. "Captain, we're not where we should be. Star patterns match no known configuration in our database." Tactical Officer Liu interrupted, her voice tight. "Multiple vessels detected, 2 distinct design configurations. Energy readings suggest advanced weapon systems. They're engaged in combat approximately 300,000 kilometers from our position." Vasquez surveyed her crew, the best Earth had to offer. The maiden voyage of humanity's first true warship was supposed to be a simple test run to Alpha Centauri and back. Now they were lost in unknown space, witnessing what appeared to be an alien conflict. "Tactical analysis," she ordered. The main holographic display activated, showing 2 fleets engaged in a precise, almost choreographed battle. One side deployed sleek, crystalline vessels with energy weapons that pulsed with blue-white intensity. The other utilized more angular, armored ships that launched swarms of autonomous attack drones. "Their technology is advanced," Liu observed, "but their tactical patterns are predictable, almost like they're following a script." Vasquez nodded. "Communications, any transmissions we can interpret." "Massive data streams, Captain," responded Communications Officer Park. "Our systems are attempting to decode, but the encryption is unlike anything in our database." The ship's neural interface hummed at the base of Vasquez's skull, connecting her directly to the Vengeance's integrated defense system. Data flowed through her consciousness, threat assessments, shield configurations, weapon status. Earth's greatest advantage wasn't raw firepower, but the seamless integration between human intuition and machine precision. "They haven't detected us yet," she noted. Their sensors seem focused exclusively on each other. The temporary advantage of surprise wouldn't last long. Vasquez made her decision. "Engage passive stealth systems. We observe only. First contact protocols are in effect." No sooner had she spoken than alarms blared across the bridge. A massive vessel, easily 5 times the size of the Vengeance, had broken formation from the angular fleet and was rapidly accelerating toward their position. "We've been spotted," Liu announced unnecessarily. The neural interface flooded Vasquez with options, weapon solutions, evasive trajectories, shield configurations. She filtered them with practiced ease. "Hold position. Defensive posture only. Let's not start an interstellar incident if we can avoid it." The massive alien vessel decelerated, coming to a relative stop 2 kilometers from the Vengeance. Its weapon arrays rotated, locking onto the human ship with precision that sent ice through Vasquez's veins. A transmission cut through their communication system, a harsh, modulated voice speaking an unknown language. The ship's translation matrix struggled, sampling phonemes and grammatical structures. Then, in broken English, "Unknown vessel. You have entered restricted military space. Power down systems. Prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in immediate destruction." Vasquez exchanged glances with her officers. First contact with an alien civilization, and they had arrived in the middle of someone else's war. "Boarding is not an option," Vasquez stated firmly, addressing both her crew and, through the open channel, the alien vessel. "We are the UNSS Vengeance, from Earth. We arrived through accidental wormhole displacement, and mean no hostile intent." The bridge fell silent as they awaited a response. Lieutenant Commander Chen leaned closer to Vasquez. "Captain, their targeting systems are still locked. Energy readings suggest weapon capacitors charging." The alien commander's voice returned, the translation still imperfect but comprehensible. "Earth designation unknown. Your technology configuration matches no recognized template. You will submit to examination or be destroyed." "Stubborn," Vasquez muttered. Like dealing with the Joint Chiefs all over again, she turned to her tactical officer. "Liu, defensive options that minimize casualties." Liu's fingers danced across her console. Pattern Echo 7 could work. We'd need precise timing. The neural interface at Vasquez's brainstem tingled as tactical data flowed into her consciousness. She saw the maneuver. Risky but elegant. Make it happen. Just as the hegemony battlecruiser Unyielding Dominion launched its first salvo, the Vengeance's engines flared to life. The human vessel executed an evasive pattern that seemed to defy the laws of physics, rolling and pitching with an agility that left the larger ship's targeting computers struggling to compensate. On the Dominion's bridge, Commander Zaxver watched in disbelief. Impossible. Nothing that size should maneuver like that. His weapons officer's voice was strained. "Sir, their defensive systems are intercepting our plasma torpedoes with targeted energy bursts. They're not using shield walls. They're performing point defense with microsecond precision." Instead of fleeing or returning fire with equal force, the Vengeance executed a daring maneuver that brought it underneath the Dominion's ventral armor plates. Small hatches opened along the human vessel's dorsal section, deploying a series of specialized drones. "Localized EMP charges in position," reported Chen aboard the Vengeance. "Ready on your mark." Vasquez nodded. "Our first diplomatic gesture. Let's make it memorable." "Execute." The drones detonated simultaneously, releasing precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses that cascaded through the Dominion's weapon systems without affecting life support or other critical functions. Alarms blared across the hegemony vessel as weapon arrays went offline one by one. Commander Zaxver slammed his four-fingered hand against his command chair. "Restore targeting capabilities immediately." But the Vengeance was already moving, accelerating away at tremendous speed toward a nearby nebula, its stealth systems engaging to mask its energy signature. "Permission to fire," called the Dominion's secondary weapons officer. Zaxver hesitated, then shook his head. "Negative. They could have destroyed us, but chose disablement instead." His outer eyes narrowed in calculation. "This changes everything." Across the sector, commanders from both the Hegemony and the Arcturian Collective reviewed the sensor data of the encounter. In the ornate chamber of the Hegemony High Command, Admiral Drellmore's scales darkened with intense emotion as he studied the holographic replay. "Their technology is unlike anything we've encountered," noted his senior analyst. "The neural signatures suggest direct interface between biological crew and ship systems, technology both we and the Collective abandoned after the synthesis wars." "Find that vessel," Drellmore ordered, his voice resonating with newfound urgency. "Whoever controls this human technology controls the outcome of this war." Meanwhile, aboard the Vengeance, safely hidden within the ionized gases of the nebula, Captain Vasquez reviewed the captured transmissions her communications team had managed to intercept and partially decode. "This conflict," she said softly, studying star charts that showed hundreds of contested systems, "it's been going on for centuries. And we just announced our presence in the most dramatic way possible," Chen added grimly. Vasquez's expression remained resolute. "We need repairs, information, and allies. In that order. Let's see what else this nebula is hiding." The nebula's swirling gases cast purple-green shadows across the holographic display, where Lieutenant Sarah Chen demonstrated their findings to the gathered senior officers. The command center of the Vengeance had been converted into an impromptu research lab as the crew worked to understand their new reality. "Their computational architecture is fascinating," Chen explained, manipulating the three-dimensional representation of captured data from the Hegemony vessel. advanced in raw processing power, but deliberately segregated. Their systems don't talk to each other the way ours do. Chief Engineer Rodriguez nodded in agreement. Same with their propulsion technology. They've mastered faster-than-light travel with impressive efficiency, but their maneuvering thrusters operate on rudimentary vector principles. It's like they intentionally avoided developing certain technological paths. Captain Vasquez studied the comparative analysis on her neural feed. The direct interface between her mind and the ship's systems gave her instant understanding of complex data that would take minutes to explain verbally. Every senior officer aboard the Vengeance had similar neural implants, allowing unprecedented coordination during combat situations. Their ships are specialized, she observed. Designated roles, limited crossover functionality. They build perfect warships, perfect science vessels, perfect transports, but nothing adaptable. Dr. Okafor entered the command center, her eyes bright with discovery. The science officer had been analyzing the small Arcturian scout vessel they'd managed to capture intact during their escape to the nebula. "I've completed the deep scan of their database," she announced, "and I think I understand why their technology developed so differently from ours." She connected her neural implant to the main system, sharing her findings directly. The officers stiffened as the information flowed into their consciousness. Historical records, scientific papers, philosophical treatises from both major powers. "They call it the synthesis," Okafor explained aloud for the benefit of junior crew members without neural interfaces. Approximately 800 years ago, both civilizations experimented with full artificial intelligence integration into biological systems. "Like our neural networks," Chen observed. "Similar foundation, but they went much further," Okafor continued. "Complete merging of organic and synthetic consciousness." The results were catastrophic. The historical imagery was fragmented but disturbing. Beings neither fully organic nor fully machine, spreading through populations like a virus. Entire worlds quarantined and eventually sterilized. After containing the synthesis outbreak, both civilizations implemented strict separation protocols, Okafor said. Compartmentalized systems, limited AI development, no direct neural interfaces. Technology designed never to evolve beyond its creator's control. Vasquez absorbed the implications. "So our greatest strength is what they fear most," Rodriguez finished. "Our quantum matrix drive, our neural interfaces, our adaptive defense systems. They're all based on principles these civilizations deliberately abandoned." Security Chief Reyes, who had remained silent until now, spoke up. "Which means we're either their greatest nightmare or their most valuable asset, depending on who gets control of our technology." The tactical alert interrupted further discussion. Sensors had detected a small vessel approaching their position in the nebula, moving cautiously, not with the aggressive posture of a warship. Arcturian design, Liu confirmed from tactical. Diplomatic configuration. A transmission penetrated their communication systems, bypassing several security protocols with surprising ease. "Crew of the Earth vessel," came a melodic, precisely modulated voice. "I am High Speaker Tilnar of the Arcturian Collective. Your demonstration against the hegemony forces was impressive. Perhaps we might discuss mutual interests." Vasquez exchanged glances with her officers. "Looks like we've been noticed by the other side now." "Could be an opportunity," Chen suggested. "Or a trap." The captain nodded thoughtfully. "Let's find out which. Prepare for visitors, but keep all defensive systems at ready status. First impressions matter, but second impressions reveal the truth." The interior of the harmonious discourse gleamed with an otherworldly elegance that made even the Vengeance's advanced design seem utilitarian by comparison. Captain Vasquez led her small delegation, Chen, Okafor, and Security Chief Rice, through corridors that seemed to be grown rather than constructed, with crystalline structures that hummed with subtle energy. High Speaker Tilnar moved with fluid grace, his translucent body glowing with internal light patterns that shifted with his emotional state. The Arcturian stood nearly 7 feet tall, with a willowy frame that belied surprising strength. Your arrival has created quite a stir among our leadership, Tilnar said, his voice melodic despite the translation interface. The hegemony has dominated 3 key sectors this past cycle. Your intervention, however unintentional, has provided a welcome disruption. We're still trying to understand the nature of this conflict, Vasquez replied diplomatically. Our arrival was accidental, but now we need to repair our wormhole stabilizer to return home. The Arcturian's inner lights pulsed with what might have been amusement. A fortunate accident for us, perhaps. The technology you demonstrated against the Dominion suggests capabilities we would value greatly as allies. Lieutenant Commander Chen studied the ship's control interfaces with poorly disguised fascination. Your computational systems are remarkable, he observed, reaching toward a crystal console. Tilnar flinched almost imperceptibly as Chen's hand moved without warning. Rise noticed the reaction, filing it away for later analysis. We prefer predictable patterns of interaction, the Arcturian explained smoothly. Your species moves with unexpected variations. Dr. Okafor maintained a polite smile, while her specialized contact lenses secretly scanned and recorded everything they passed. When the diplomatic tour approached the sealed doorway, her enhanced vision detected energy signatures that didn't match the rest of the vessel. High Speaker, she asked casually, what research facilities does your vessel maintain? A flicker of tension passed through Tilnar's luminescent patterns. Standard analytical laboratories. Nothing that would interest scientists of your caliber. Later, as the Arcturian delegation prepared a formal reception, Okafor slipped away under the pretense of requiring human biological necessities unfamiliar to their hosts. With Rice providing discreet cover, she accessed a maintenance junction and connected her neural interface to the ship's systems. What she discovered turned her blood cold. When the humans reconvened in their assigned quarters, Okafor shared the disturbing images through their secure neural network. Laboratory facilities filled with biological specimens from dozens of species, gene splicing chambers, and most disturbing, weaponized viral agents designed specifically for civilian population centers. They're creating bioweapons, she explained in a whisper. And there's more. They have detailed genetic analyses of our DNA already. They must have collected samples during our docking procedure. Rice checked his sidearm. We need to leave. Now. Too late, Chen warned, his neural interface detecting a surge in the ship's security systems. They know we've accessed restricted data. The door slid open to reveal High Speaker Tilnar, his crystalline form now reconfigured into a battle stance. Sharp edges where smooth contours had been. Behind him stood a contingent of guards with weapons trained on the humans. Your integration technology is truly remarkable, the Arcturian said, his melodic voice now cold. The collective has sought such capabilities for generations. You will provide them, one way or another. A digital attack surged through the ship's systems, targeting the humans' neural interfaces. But instead of the easy victory the Arcturians expected, they encountered defense protocols unlike anything they had anticipated. You really shouldn't underestimate Earth cybersecurity, Vasquez said calmly as their countermeasures not only blocked the attack but reversed it, sending cascading failures through the Arcturian systems. Emergency lights flashed as the ship's computers struggled against the unexpected intrusion. Fall back to the shuttle, she ordered her team. This diplomatic mission just ended. The makeshift command center deep within the asteroid mining complex hummed with activity as Captain Vasquez finished applying a regenerative patch to Security Chief Rias's shoulder wound. Their escape from the Arcturian vessel had been narrow. A firefight through crystalline corridors, a desperate shuttle launch under fire, and a risky blind jump into asteroid-dense space. "How's our patient?" Dr. Okafor asked, entering with a datapad displaying Rias's vital signs. "Stubborn," Vasquez replied with a faint smile. "Just like the rest of my crew." Reyes grimaced as he tested his shoulder. The Arcturians weren't expecting physical resistance. Their society relies too heavily on technological superiority. A soft chime interrupted them. One of their Nemerian guests requesting entry. When Vasquez granted access, Speaker Nelim glided into the room, her willowy form moving with graceful precision, luminescent patterns flowing beneath her translucent skin. "Your security chief recovers well," Nelim observed, her multitonal voice creating harmonics that the translation system rendered into precise English. "We have prepared a traditional healing broth that may accelerate cellular regeneration." "Thank you," Vasquez said with genuine appreciation. The refugee ship they had rescued during their flight from the Arcturians had contained the last surviving members of a species thought extinct in the ongoing conflict. The Nemerians, once renowned as diplomats and mediators before being targeted for their neutrality. Nelim tilted her elongated head, studying Vasquez with compound eyes that reflected light in prismatic patterns. "Your responses continue to fascinate us. Such rapid adaptability, such emotional variance. You shift from diplomatic to combative to nurturing with remarkable speed." Chen, who had been analyzing sensor data nearby, looked up. "Is that unusual among other species?" "More than you realize," Nelim explained, settling onto a specially designed seat. "Both the hegemony and collective have engaged in centuries of genetic engineering. They create specialists, perfect pilots with enhanced spatial awareness, but limited emotional range. Perfect scientists with expanded cognitive capacity, but reduced physical capabilities. Optimization at the cost of flexibility," Okafor noted. "Precisely." Nelim's skin patterns shifted to a thoughtful blue. When facing unexpected challenges, their specialized castes struggle to adapt. You humans retain something both powers have sacrificed: generalist capabilities and emotional complexity that drives innovation. The conversation paused as Officer Leo entered urgently. "Captain, sensors have detected an approaching vessel. Lone signature, minimal escort." Everyone tensed, but the anticipated attack never came. Instead, a single shuttle requested permission to dock. Scans indicated only one passenger, an unusual reading for either hegemony or Arcturian craft, which typically operated with redundant crew complements. When the airlock cycled open, a tall, severe figure stepped through. Scale-like dermal plates covered a humanoid form, dressed in form-fitting armor bearing insignia that the Nemerians identified with visible discomfort. "Hegemony Intelligence Director Xanfol," the visitor announced without preamble, yellow eyes scanning the assembled humans with calculating precision. "I come alone and unarmed." Vasquez maintained a neutral expression. "A bold decision. Bold decisions are required in unprecedented circumstances." Xanfol's gaze settled on the neural interface visible at the base of Vasquez's skull. "I have a proposition that may benefit us both." In the privacy of a secured conference room, the hegemony official laid out his offer: the location of the humans' missing wormhole stabilizer in exchange for access to their military technology. When Vasquez refused to provide weapons that could escalate the already devastating conflict, Xanfol's expression darkened. "Then perhaps this will alter your perspective," he said, activating a holographic display showing a star chart. A blinking indicator highlighted a specific coordinate set that Vasquez recognized immediately. "That's impossible," she whispered. "Those are Earth's coordinates. The Arcturians are more efficient at data extraction than you realized." Xanfol replied coldly. "They've already dispatched a research fleet. We've sent our own expedition in response. Whoever reaches your homeworld first gains an incalculable advantage in this war." Vasquez's blood ran cold as she realized the implications. Earth, unprepared, unaware, now faced discovery by two ruthless interstellar powers locked in endless conflict. "They want weapons. Let's give them information instead." Captain Vasquez's voice carried across the command center, where her senior officers had gathered following Xanfol's departure. The revelation that Earth faced imminent discovery had initially cast a pall of despair over the crew, but Vasquez refused to surrender to hopelessness. She stood before a holographic display, showing the positions of key communication nodes throughout both empires. Red indicators represented hegemony networks, blue for Arcturian systems. Both civilizations maintain strict information control, she explained. Their populations receive only carefully filtered data about the war. Lieutenant Commander Chen nodded in understanding. Most citizens have no idea about the biological weapons, the sacrificed homeworlds, the extinction of neutral species. Exactly, Vasquez confirmed. Their societies function through compartmentalization, not just in technology, but in knowledge. What happens if we change that? Dr. Okafor's eyes lit with comprehension. Information cascade. If enough citizens in both empires learn the truth simultaneously, we create internal pressure that could destabilize their command structures. Security Chief Rice finished. Give their leadership something to worry about besides Earth. Speaker Nellam, who had been invited to join the strategic session, moved forward with characteristic grace. An audacious strategy, but one that requires cultural nuance. Each species within the empires will respond differently to various truths. The Narration gestured to her companions, who stepped forward with data crystals. We can provide context, which revelations will most affect each population, which evidence will resonate across species barriers. Over the next 48 hours, the combined human and Narration team developed their plan. Dr. Okafor and the ship's computational systems created specialized infiltration algorithms designed to bypass the compartmentalized security of both powers. These would allow surgical insertion of information packets containing the most damning evidence of atrocities committed by both sides. 3 primary targets, Vasquez explained during the final briefing. The Hegemony Central Broadcast Hub in the Rigel sector, the Arcturian Public Information Network Nexus, and the Neutral Trading Station at Proxima Junction, where merchants from both sides exchange goods. Chen displayed the team assignments on the main screen. Small teams, fast insertion. We'll have approximately 20 minutes at each location before security systems adapt to our presence. Chief Engineer Rodriguez studied the schematics of the Hegemony Broadcast Hub with growing concern. The primary uplink requires a manual override from inside the radiation containment chamber. Automated systems won't work due to the interference. I'll handle it, he volunteered, meeting Vasquez's eyes with calm determination. The radiation levels, she began. Will give me about 10 minutes before protection fails, he finished. Enough time to complete the override if I don't waste time on the extraction. A heavy silence fell over the command center. There must be another way, Chen insisted. Rodriguez shook his head. The math doesn't lie, Commander. 1 life against billions on Earth. Engineers are supposed to be practical. As the teams prepared for deployment, Vasquez found Rodriguez calibrating equipment in his workshop. You know I can't order you to do this, she said quietly. The engineer continued working, his hand steady. You're not ordering me, Captain. Some calculations are simple. Earth needs to be warned. This gives us our best chance. He looked up with a faint smile. Always figured I'd go out with a bang anyway. 20 hours later, the operation commenced. As the teams deployed to their targets, Rodriguez's voice came through the comm one final time as he sealed the radiation chamber door behind him. Broadcast initiated. Signal reaching all sectors. It was an honor, Captain. Across thousands of worlds, citizens of both empires simultaneously received uncensored evidence of their leaders' atrocities. As insurrections erupted throughout both territories, the ruling councils deployed their most powerful fleets with new orders. Find and destroy the human vessel at any cost. 3 minutes to intercept, Captain. Combined enemy forces number over 200 capital ships. Tactical Officer Liu's voice remained steady despite the overwhelming odds displayed on the command center's holographic projection. The Vengeance had returned to the Proxima sector, seemingly trapped between the converging armadas of both galactic powers. Captain Vasquez stood at the center of the bridge, her posture betraying none of the grief that had shadowed the crew since Rodriguez's sacrifice. Their mourning would have to wait. Earth's fate hung in the balance. She exchanged a meaningful glance with Dr. Okafor, who nodded from her science station. The plan they had developed was theoretical, untested, and possibly suicidal. Exactly the kind of unpredictable strategy that might work against enemies who thought in rigidly defined patterns. All hands, secure for tactical maneuvers, Vasquez announced shipwide. Execute Quantum Gambit. The experimental drive that had brought them to this galaxy began to spin up, not for escape, but for an application its designers had never envisioned. The neural interfaces connecting the senior officers pulsed with complex calculations as the ship's systems redistributed power. Micro-wormhole generators online, Chen reported, his fingers dancing across control surfaces. Quantum entanglement field stable. The pursuing fleets emerged from faster-than-light travel, their formations impeccable, hundreds of vessels arranged in tactical patterns refined over centuries of warfare. Forward batteries locked onto this seemingly defenseless human vessel. Target acquired, announced a hegemony commander. Fire on my mark. Initiate firing sequence, ordered his Arcturian counterpart across the sector. But as the first salvos launched, chaos erupted. The vengeance seemed to multiply, quantum duplicates appearing simultaneously at different coordinates. Not holograms or sensor ghosts, but partial manifestations of the ship itself, each momentarily real in a different position. Impossible, gasped the Arcturian weapons officer, her crystalline form vibrating with confusion. They're generating micro-wormholes, folding spacetime around their vessel. The confused armadas, unable to distinguish the real target from quantum duplicates, began firing at anything that registered on their sensors, including each other. The perfectly choreographed assault dissolved into disarray as friendly fire incidents cascaded through both fleets. Aboard the Vengeance, the strain of maintaining the quantum field was visible on Okafor's face. The drive wasn't designed for this. We have maybe 10 minutes before permanent system failure. Make them count, Vasquez ordered, before a new alert captured her attention. Lou's expression showed rare surprise. Captain, multiple vessels are breaking formation, ships from both sides. They're positioning themselves between us and the main fleets. A transmission cut through the comm system. Vengeance, this is Commander Kelshan of the former hegemony cruiser Indomitable. My homeworld was sacrificed as a tactical diversion by my own government. Your broadcast showed us the truth. We stand with you now. A second voice joined in. This is Captain Zurel of the Arcturian light carrier Resonant Harmony. We too have heard your message. The slaughter ends today. Across the battlefield, dozens of ships, then hundreds, broke from their formations, their crews having mutinied after hearing the humans' broadcast. What had begun as a hunt now transformed into the opening salvo of a civil war within both empires. They've created a corridor, Liu announced, indicating a path through the chaos. Vasquez nodded grimly. Plot course to the coordinates Xanfol provided. If the wormhole stabilizer is truly there, we might yet save Earth. As the Vengeance advanced through the protection of the rebel fleet, behind them unfolded the largest space battle in galactic history, the first confrontation in a revolution sparked by humanity's arrival. The ancient Arcturian research station hung in orbit around a dying star, its angular structure a dark silhouette against the bloated red giant. As engineering teams from the Vengeance worked frantically to integrate the recovered wormhole stabilizer with their systems, Captain Vasquez studied tactical updates from the ongoing battle they had left behind. The rebellion spread faster than anyone could have predicted. Centuries of suppressed resentment had erupted into open conflict throughout both empires. But the ruling councils would not relinquish power easily. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Chen's voice pulled her attention back to the present crisis. We've successfully integrated the stabilizer. Initial calculations suggest an 87% probability of generating a stable wormhole back to Earth coordinates. A moment of relief washed through the command center before a priority alert shattered the brief calm. Tactical Officer Liu's expression grew grim as she interpreted the incoming data. Both the Hegemony Supreme Command and the Arcturian Collective Overmind have deployed space-time disruptors, she reported, her voice tense. These weapons, The readings suggest they're capable of unraveling reality itself within their effective radius. Dr. Okafor confirmed the analysis. They're targeting the rebel fleet concentration. The casualty projections are... She hesitated. Total. Silence fell across the bridge as the implications became clear. The mutinied vessels that had provided their escape corridor would be annihilated, along with millions of crew members who had chosen to stand against tyranny. Can we still make it home? Chen asked quietly. Vasquez studied the tactical display, measuring distances and timing. Yes. The wormhole will form before the disruptors reach our position. She straightened, her decision crystallizing with perfect clarity. But Earth remains vulnerable if either empire survives to follow us. The captain activated the ship-wide communication system. All personnel, this is Captain Vasquez. We have recovered the wormhole stabilizer and can now return to Earth. However, we face a final choice. She paused, knowing her next words would ask more than any commander had the right to demand. I am ordering the evacuation of non-essential personnel to our shuttles. Lieutenant Commander Chen will lead you back to Earth with the stabilizer and our Nemerian allies. The Vengeance, with a volunteer skeleton crew, will remain to ensure your safe passage and to neutralize the threat to our homeworld. Chen stepped forward in protest. Captain, Earth needs to be warned, Vasquez said firmly. They need to prepare for whatever comes next. They need you, Commander. As the evacuation proceeded, volunteers for the remaining crew assembled in the command center. Dr. Okafor, Tactical Officer Liu, and a dozen others who refused to abandon their captain. The quantum drive, Okafor explained to those who stayed, can be modified to create a cascading disruption field. It will neutralize the superweapons, but the feedback will destroy the Vengeance. When Chen's shuttle entered the stabilized wormhole, his final glimpse of the Vengeance showed it surrounded by energy discharges, drawing the superweapon's destructive force into a contained implosion that rippled through spacetime. 6 months later, on Earth, Chen stood before the United Nations Security Council, explaining how humanity's first contact had forever changed a distant galaxy. The rigid hierarchies of both superpowers collapsed as worlds declared independence, he reported. A new Galactic Council formed, built on principles of cooperation rather than dominance. His voice softened as he concluded, Captain Vasquez and her volunteers were never found. But their legacy endures. A civilization transformed by humanity's defining traits. Adaptability, compassion, and the courage to forge a path where none existed before. As delegates debated Earth's preparations for future contact, a scientist at a remote monitoring station detected an anomalous energy signature at the edge of the solar system, identical to the quantum drive of the long-lost human vessel.